Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I remain Latosin and I'm reading you outlook for the New York session for today, May 21, 2026. And looking at the economic calendar, we see that as predicted by the market, although more than what market predicted, there was a reduction in the manufacturing PMI number across the French and German zone, and Eurozone in general. And a surprise because there was a reduction in the service PMI in France and that of the German one, we had a bit of increase. And that was what led to this initial sellout by 15. But we had the market recovered quickly after that. After the German zone PMI were released by 30, market recovered started recovering by 9 o'clock. And that's what we had in the morning. Here is afternoon, expecting the Fed manufacturing index, the Philly Fed. We have the unemployment claims, and we have orders as well by 1:30 as well. The housing start the building permit preliminary, the flash payment numbers by 2:45. Consumer sentiment, the University of Michigan consumer sentiment later on in the day by 3 o'clock. So an action-packed afternoon for medium impact news, or perhaps high impact news reduced to medium. That would be how to call it. So what is happening in the market right now, I do not understand. This is a very special kind of scenario. Perhaps people are listening to some news on channels that I don't have access to. And that is why we have this market going up and coming down. So we see this run up by 3 o'clock yesterday when the president, Trump, gave an assurance of the fact that we do not need to worry about inflation. People started buying. And since then, we've been in a sideways to downtrend. We're up again this morning after a flush down on almost every asset. We flushed and then we ran up again. And right now we are flushing again. And I'll show you something that is falling in volume. I will get to the 15 minutes time frame. So 15 minutes time frame right now, we had this inversion, this V-shaped turnaround that we inverted again before the in a session, before another session even opened. We inverted again, showing so much confusion. Perhaps people know something. And now, okay, let me show you quickly the volume um, for the CME chart. And this is where I like to measure volume. So we see that on the rundown, super that was a news candle, we had a big volume. And then for the run up, you can see mostly the candle should run up like this on the back of high volume. It shows participation and the fact that we will continue. But this one ran up on the back of a low volume. The candles were relatively larger than the volume traded. Right now we inverted, and the inversion on the way down, we have high volume being traded. This is signifying that there's a positional build of some sort, and I don't understand right now. Maybe the inflation fear has kicked in again, and the normal trend, which is the downward trend, has started again, has resumed for the week. The same thing on gold here. See that gold had a bit of volume on the way up, and the value on gold was not so bearish. I even tried long in the morning. I had to close the trade very quickly because we had this flush down, which I did not trust to hold. But right now, see the down on the downtrend, we have increasing volume. That is something to note, and also on Nasdaq as well, increasing volume on the downtrend. This is something to be on the lookout for. Let me delete this, and so that's just it to show you guys. We have a very confused market at the moment. So even though the trend is bearish, we want to be careful so that we don't get chased out of the market. I've been chased out. I've been stopped at plenty this week, but I have to just keep going. I made a mistake in the morning, but that would be a later note. So we have a market that is confused. The idea based on yesterday's trading session will still be a long. We have a rejection of lower prices at VPOC here, and that coincides with the third band of the view up, and then we had a trade higher, we have a run lower, and we are basically still counting on this candle to hold, this 1500 candle. Somewhere around there, it still holds, it's good. If you trade above previous day open right now, and we price establishes uh, it's established lower here for the New York session, it may actually be a downtrend, and we have to target the previous day's low instead of previous day's high. But as long as we go and stay above previous day's low, previous week's low, it is still a short-term uptrend. So let's look at this one too. This and this. So good as well. We ran up in the morning, and this was what confused me really. I was playing for a claim of VWAP in the morning, but on the weekly, but that wasn't so. So right now for gold, you see that previous week low is holding quite well for gold, and that is the difference between the gold and the Euro USD right now. We have went under the previous week low on the Euro USD, but gold seems to hold this in the morning. This has been this held in the morning. This is seems to be holding now. So if we can establish above this, we could still expect a push upward. For this one, we don't have the previous day's high to target as that extreme has been reached. But mostly maybe a trade back to equilibrium, a mean reversion trade would be possible in New York session. New York session by 1 o'clock, not right now. Because this was a great push downward. I'm not expecting that inversion again before a session open. So that is it for gold. But where I want to be very careful and short gold, if we do claim below the low established or this low and claim back into the value area for the previous day, that will be a confirmation of the trade downward. And I'll try to look for the trade very early in the session because if the trade should move on and we have a quick rush, I may not be able to enter anymore. So moving forward right now to Nasdaq, I believe I've taken so much time with this video. Yes. With Nasdaq right now, we have a confused market too. A run up, a retreat up again, a rejection again, and people who trade double top will look inside double top, and then a flush lower. I can't affirm that right now, especially with the fact that we are not trading, we're trading above this 3 o'clock candle for yesterday's zero. So maybe something to look out for. Scalp mostly. A little position will be difficult to take right now. So mostly a scalp during session open by 2:30 GMT plus one. So that is it, guys. A scalp long, of course, not a scalp short, a scalp long. That's it, guys. Good luck and good trade. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.